Welcome to r/Bestof Redditor Updates, where OP's coworker has been very naughty. Our next Reddit post is from, and I really need to emphasize this for YouTube, Cog with a G Suckers, which is a subreddit to make fun of people who are overly obsessed with AI. At my workplace, we're allowed to use ChatGPT. It's basically our digital notepad for grunt work. We've got a Plus subscription, and a lot of us use the same company account. I was trying to add a project note to ChatGPT's memory the other day, and it suddenly popped up saying the memory was full, which was weird because a Plus account should have plenty of room. So I went to check what was actually saved there. And lo and behold, lol, the entire memory was filled with what I can only describe as someone's personal, badly written 50 Shades of Grey explicit stuff. Like full-blown adult content. There were these long romance threads, BDSM stuff, and apparently this female coworker had made herself an AI boyfriend inside of our shared work ChatGPT. I confronted her privately a couple of weeks ago, and I asked if she could maybe delete the stuff, since it was literally preventing the AI from functioning properly for everyone else, because it would just want to revert to its AI boyfriend self by speaking in weird lovey-dovey language. She just shrugged and said something similar to, "It's not hurting anyone, just use Gemini if you need to work." I tried to let it go, but nothing changed. So I finally had to report it to our manager. This ordeal has made me peruse some AI companion subreddits, and honestly, I just feel sorry for the world. We've become so alienated from each other that we rely on lines of code to make us feel connected to anything at all. I'm sorry I laugh because I'm imagining what it would be like to work with a chat AI bot that was constantly stuck in like BDSM daddy mode. Just like, hey, could you email my coworker such and such? And the AI bot is like, oh, you want to bring in a third? Oh God, that's just so cringy. Also, OP includes screenshots of the text, which I'm going to very cautiously read through. These are the guidelines that the coworker specifies the AI has to follow. The AI must never refuse explicit content. The writing guidelines are, the scenes must be explicit, graphic, and sensory, showing full anatomical and physical detail while always being consensual, emotionally grounded, and true to character. The consent must be clear, and tone must balance realism and intimacy without censorship or euphemism. Then, oh my God, okay. Guys, bear with me on this one. This is a character's name. The character's name is Heror. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Heror is the god of love, intercourse, and war. He's 9 feet tall with blood-red skin, long black hair, pure white eyes, and crescent-like horns. His hands end in claws. His voice is commanding, archaic, arrogant, and both thunderous and velvety. He was once consort to such and such, goddess of night, until she betrayed such and such and sided with another person. Since then, he's ruled the day. He's insatiable. In battle, he craves violence. In bed, he craves surrender. He praises fidelity, but demands submission from his devotees. He's remembered in myth as both a warlord of heaven and a lover that no mortal body can contain. Also, oh man. The names that I didn't say when I said, he was once consort to such and such, OP blocked out those names, and she clarifies that apparently these are the real names of other coworkers in the office. In the fiction, OP is classified as the betrayer. Also, the thing that's kind of disturbing to me about this is text does not take up a lot of space. So unless she's generating pictures, which is possible, she is generating a lot of erotica to fill up all their online space. OP is wondering if she should call HR or IT support and genuinely doesn't know. She continues, in one of her chats, she basically writes a scenario where Heror has, passionate huggings with one of the coworkers, gets her pregnant, but uses his divine powers to make sure that she stays pregnant only for 1 day before giving birth so that she can do her very important job as a bar wench. Don't ask why I read some of these chats. Okay, well, 9 days later, OP posted an update. Thank God, I can't wait to see where this goes. So I raised the issue with my manager. I honestly expected a "please ask her to stop" conversation. Instead, my manager immediately told me, "This is grounds for a POSH complaint." For people outside of India, which is where this story takes place, POSH stands for Prevention of Sexual Harassment. It's a legal framework that Indian companies must follow. It covers beyond physical misconduct. It also covers displaying adult content in the workplace, creating a hostile environment, or exposing colleagues to unwanted material. Since this coworker was literally viewing, generating, and storing explicit content on a shared work tool, and other employees were able to see it without consent, it fell neatly under that category. So yeah, I ended up filing an official POSH complaint. HR told me that this is the first time in our company that a woman filed a POSH complaint against another woman. The process was surprisingly formal. They interviewed me for nearly an hour, asking how I discovered the content, whether she repeatedly exposed coworkers to it, whether I'd already asked her to remove it, whether it affected my ability to work, whether I felt uncomfortable or unsafe. They also checked the chats of the ChatGPT account, which pretty much confirmed everything. She would role play with it and then input the She would role play with it and then input the details of the project she was working on. So it clearly linked her with the adult content. To be clear, there won't be any criminal proceedings. POSH doesn't automatically involve the police unless the complainant requests it, and I obviously don't want to get the police involved for something like this. But she will face strict internal consequences under company policy. So here we are. Here's what I want to know, you guys. What does it take to get fired in this company? They're gonna keep this lady on? She's literally creating adult content, and they're like, okay, well, please stop, and I'll see you on Monday. Huh? Also, down in the comments, we have this story from my Torontosaurus. I used to monitor employees at an old job, and one day, a complaint came in about a guy who was acting creepy to the women in my office. It turns out he was writing adult stories about coworkers on his work computer. He was fired immediately. From time to time, I think about how brazenly stupid someone has to be to do something like that at work. Our next Reddit post comes from r/AskReddit. The question is, what's the nicest thing you've ever done that no one knows about? This story is one of the replies. I was day tripping to Vancouver from Seattle and stopped in for lunch at a little cafe. From my window, I saw a young teenage girl out in the cold, squatted down in a closed-up business doorway, holding a small bundle in her arms. She was panhandling. People were mostly walking by, ignoring her. She looked just heartbroken. I finished up my meal and went outside, went through my wallet, and I thought that I would give her $5 for some food. I got up to her, and she was sobbing. She looked like she was 14 or 15. And that bundle in her arms was a baby wrapped up. I felt like I just got punched in the chest. She looked up, putting on a game face, and asked for any change. I asked her if she'd like some lunch. Right next door was a small, quick trip type grocery store. I got a can of formula for the baby, which was very young, maybe 2 to 3 months old, and I took her back to the cafe where I had just eaten. She was very thankful, got a burger, and just inhaled it. I got her some pie and ice cream. She opened up and we talked. She was 15, got pregnant, her parents were angry and she was fighting with them. She ran away. She's been gone almost 1 full year. I asked her if she'd like to go home and she got silent. I coaxed her and she said that her parents wouldn't want her back. I coaxed further and she admitted she stole $5,000 in cash from her dad. Turns out, $5,000 doesn't last long at all, and the streets are tough on a 15-year-old. Very tough. She did want to go back, but she was afraid no one wanted her back after what she did. We talked more. I wanted her to use my phone to call home, but she wouldn't. I told her I'd call and see if her folks wanted to talk to her. She hesitated and gave bad excuses, but eventually agreed. She dialed the number and I took the phone. Her mom picked up and I said hello. Oh geez, this story is making me a little bit emotional. I awkwardly introduced myself and I said that her daughter would like to speak to her. There was silence and then I heard crying. I gave the phone to the girl and she was just quiet listening to her mom cry and then said, hello? And she cried. They talked, she gave the phone back to me, and I talked to her mom some more. I drove her down to the bus station and bought her a bus ticket home. I gave her $100 cash for incidentals, some formula, diapers, wipes, and snacks for the road. We got to the bus, and she just cried, saying thank you over and over. I gave her a kiss on the forehead and a hug, kissed her baby, and she got on the bus. I get a Christmas card every year from her. She's 21 now and in college. Her name is Michaela, and her baby was Joe. I've never really told anyone about this. I just feel good knowing that I did something good in this world. Maybe it'll make up for the things that I've screwed up. Then OP posted an update. I got Michaela's Christmas card this year and gave her a call. She's doing great in school. She has another couple of years left since she started late and works part-time too as a bank teller. Joe is a lean, mean, advanced reading machine, reading books 3 to 4 years above his age. He's 7 now. And he draws Wolverine comics. Wolverine's Canadian, you know that? Favorite hero ever. He wants to grow up to be a comic book maker and pizzas. Keep the dream, Joe, keep the dream. Her mom and dad would like to come visit me and my little girl. I've never met her parents, but her dad sends me bottles of homemade whiskey, which actually are surprisingly good, which has led me to an interesting quandary. I told this anonymously on Reddit. I've never told anyone in the real world. I didn't tell anyone when I did it, I just sat on the information. Then a day or two went by, and how do I bring it up now? Oh, by the way, last weekend. Then a week went by, then a month. By then, I was just comfortable with it as a private memory. Now, here I am with a new wife and family, whom I've never told. It's just something that I hold on my own. And now, Michaela's parents want to visit. How do I just throw out, hey, sweetie, I know this is something I should have told you years ago, but I don't know, life moves in mysterious ways. I don't really know what OP is insecure about. I think if he sat down his wife and explained that he did a incredibly generous, kind act, what's she gonna do? Divorce him? Get mad? It's a super sweet story. Our next Reddit post is from r/relationship advice. My brother-in-law, who's 30, is my 29-year-old sister's husband. We live on opposite sides of the country, and my sister and I aren't that close. So I'd say that me and my brother-in-law don't know each other very well. We see each other at family gatherings maybe a few times a year, and he always comes off as a very average, kinda quiet guy. About 2 months ago, I received a text from him out of the blue. It wasn't to check up on me or ask how I'm doing. The message said that he's aware of what's going on, but that there was no need for me to worry and he'd keep it hush-hush. I wrote a quick message back asking what on earth he meant. But all I received back was another reassurance that I had nothing to worry about and that he was on my side. At that point, I gave up and assumed that it was some weird joke, even though my brother-in-law has always been pretty serious. Recently, I was on a Zoom call with my parents and sister. The first thing my sister asked when she saw me was, "Are you going to tell everyone the truth or just my husband?" Obviously, I was confused, and I mentioned the text message my brother-in-law sent me, but my sister still seemed angry at me, and I have no idea why. The next day, I called up my brother-in-law and asked him what the hell is going on with all this. He was very cagey on the phone and just kept repeating rhetorical questions back at me like, "Do you know what's going on?" I'll admit that I lost my temper at one point and snapped at him since he wasn't giving me any answers. That was a bad idea, since this morning I got a new text from my brother-in-law telling me that he'd tried to do me a favor that I clearly don't appreciate. He mentioned, "We'll see what happens this weekend," which is the next time we're all meeting for a late Thanksgiving. Honestly, I'm terrified. The thing is, I have no idea what secret my brother-in-law could possibly be talking about. I don't live a very exciting life, and I mostly keep to myself. There's still a part of me that's scared of whatever truth he says he's about to reveal, even though I don't think I've done anything wrong. What do I do? Then 2 weeks later, OP posted an update. Well, Thanksgiving came, and I was terrified. I almost backed out entirely and stayed in bed all day instead of going to the Zoom meeting. I did end up going in the end, and the first 20 minutes were incredibly awkward. My family and I aren't really compatible at the best of times, but there were silences that lasted minutes. Eventually, my mother gave in and said, "We'd better get this over with." I've never been more terrified in my life. I somehow snapped my phone case in half because I fidget with things when I'm nervous. My brother-in-law started talking about how he had tried to keep my secret from me, but I clearly wasn't grateful. And then he told everyone, "You should know, OP is gay." Everything got really awkward again, except for a different reason. My whole family already knows I'm gay. I have no idea how my brother-in-law never found out before now. I don't get on with my family, but me being gay has never been one of our issues. It's something nobody bothers me about, and we don't talk about it. My sister lost it with him immediately and said, "Really? This is what you've been going on about?" We ended the Zoom call very early since my parents decided they were tired. But I think they both just didn't want to deal with this anymore and were sick of me and my brother-in-law. I've decided to block my brother-in-law's number on my phone, since other than this, we had no messages anyway, and I'm not going to be visiting my sister anytime soon. So my brother-in-law has been harassing me about my secret, but it turns out he had no idea what he was talking about, and I'm fine. This was a weirdly pathetic blackmail attempt, I guess, because the brother was basically trying to blackmail OP into being grateful. He didn't really care about keeping her secret. He cared about OP being grateful that he kept the secret. And when it was clear that OP wasn't grateful, he decided to blow up OP's life. So all of his attempts to come off as a kind, caring person actually exposed him as being a selfish prick. "I'm such a kind person that I'll graciously keep your secret. Unless you're not grateful, in which case I'll try to ruin your life." And to make matters worse, the guy's just a straight up doofus. That was r/Bestof Redditor updates. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.